We've been to New York, Boston, and Washington, D.C., and I think we've got it finally figured out because we're here in sunny Florida, Port Charlotte, spring training facility of the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'm getting ready to interview manager Joe Maddon.
It's Be Your Own Fan TV with your host, Tyler Taminia, sponsored by M-Style Marketing.
Well, look, my dad and I always used to have catches all the time, right? It was like a special thing that, well, mostly probably to work on my mechanics, and my arm was too low and my wrist was too tight. But, you know, there's something that happens when you have a catch with somebody.
Sure.
You know, it's that unspoken language.
Right.
What does a catch mean to you, and when's the last time you had one?
Really? See, I've had a bummed out arm for a couple of years now.
Stop.
And it really, so I haven't been throwing for the last couple of years. And when I did, though, I used to love to play catch. And you talk about with your dad. I mean, I did that with my dad. My dad used to come home, he was a plumber. And my dad would come home from work, he'd be tired and dirty, whatever, but we'd always go outside and play catch. And for as long as I wanted to, he would always be there for me. So just a lot like the movie Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
When you see when Pop comes back and they play catch on that field, believe me, vicariously I could really appreciate that, because that's what it was to me. My dad coming home dirty and tired, but always able to play catch with me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, so now you got to lead the troops, right? I mean, you're a manager,
right?
So you have to be very inspiring and always be upbeat and positive. After you have like a crushing loss,
right?
How do you get your mindset?
Okay.
You know, you got post-game interviews, you got to deal with all this other stuff that goes on.
Normally it's a sip of red wine, and then after that, I really have tried to have our guys understand one concept that I really believe in: to win hard for half an hour and lose hard for half an hour, then move on to the next day. When I was with the Angels and when I first began in the major leagues, too many times I'd see guys carry that loss all night and into the next day, and then I thought it would always impact how we played the next day, or maybe for the next 2 or 3 days. So for me, regardless of what happened the day before, it's really important to file it and move on. It's not like the other sports. We play every day, and when you play every day, you cannot, you can't carry negativity with you at all. It will eat you alive. So we got a half-hour rule here. You win hard for half an hour, you lose hard for half an hour, and then you move on. And when in doubt, a glass of red wine.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, you know, what's about the theory that, you know, the fans kind of take the wins and losses a little bit harder than the players?
Oh no, it's
really not
different.
the case.
It's a different thing. I mean, like, just like I said, the players can't, because if they do, they're not going to play as well.
Right. Yeah.
Believe me, we don't
fans
like.
Fans do think though sometimes, Joe, that they. You know.
I understand that the fans, and that's just a misconception.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's different when we have to keep a certain level about our thinking, or our mindset, that is truly that levelness where there's no peaks and valleys. Fans could ride as much of an emotional roller coaster as they want. I mean, after all, their days revolved around where they're going to listen to it that night or watch it on TV, and that's cool. I think that's great. I used to be that guy.
Yeah.
But when you actually are participating, you cannot expend that much emotion as a fan would. Otherwise, performance-wise, you'd be worn out by the All-Star break.
Toughest decision you ever had to make as a manager?
The toughest, maybe the most interesting, was the night we walked Josh Hamilton with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Because actually I saw that coming, and I told Hick in advance, I said, if this happens, if we get to this point, we're going to walk a run in on purpose with this guy and pitch to the next guy with Danny, because it was about for pitching. So probably the strangest decision I've ever made, and actually, hopefully, thankfully, that it worked out well.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You had a field named after you.
Yeah,
usually, you got to be like 6 foot under, right?
You know,
in
that's
a field
what I always talk
before
about.
like a field gets
Yes,
named
I don't want to
after
be pushing daisies the
know.
other way.
I mean, you got to feel great about that.
Well,
though,
there's always my hometown has wanted to do things for me in the past, and they say, listen, I am nobody's black and white photograph yet.
Yeah.
What I mean is, when I was a kid growing up in high school, you'd walk around the high school, and there'd be Huey McGean in black and white, and all the Mr. Serrani in black and white. All the icons of the 1930s were in black and white. And then all of a sudden, somebody wanted to make me a black and white photo on a wall somewhere. That really bothered me. So I've really resisted with all those kind of awards, because I need to be at least 20 to 30 years older than I am right now before I could become somebody's black and white photograph.
Yeah, well, if you weren't a manager, what would you be?
I've been asked that question a lot lately too, and I'll tell you, this may surprise people. I wanted, I went to Lafayette College, which thankfully I did. A lot of good things happened because of that. Had I not, I wanted to go to Cornell to their hotel and restaurant administration school. And if that were the case, if I was not doing this, maybe being in charge of a nice resort in the Caribbean somewhere, something in the south of France.
I don't hate that. I don't mind that.
Something in Greece, something like that would have worked also.
Oh, that would have worked out very nice. But
yeah.
we like where you're at right now.
I appreciate it, but that's the alternative thought.
Well, asking some of the guys in the industry, they always say that you're like a student of the game and you're always reading. What's the last book that you've read?
I'm reading Sacred Hoops right now by Phil Jackson, which I had never read, and Derek Shelton, our hitting coach, brought it to my attention. He thought I should read it, and I am, and I find it very interesting. I read something this past summer. I can't remember what I was reading. I picked up. I was trying to reread Caribbean by James Michener because that book made an impact on me years ago. You talk about a lot of our players here are from that part of the world, and understanding them a little bit better, I thought, is always important. It talks about Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and gets into the Cuban. Talks about slaves coming over and how the caste system worked. So I've always found that interesting. So I've not got into that deeply enough yet, but I find Caribbean very interesting.
All right. So we talked about wine. We have to.
Okay.
All right. So you tell me, what's the best wine that complements a hot dog?
Woof. Best wine that would complement a hot dog. Yeah, I would say, let's go for something good for a hot dog.
Yeah.
You got to go with something, because first of all, I do love hot dogs. Let's go with a nice bottle of Camus would be nice with the hot dog.
That's my wine. I
know.
know.
So
that's my 96
I was
right here.
Mine right here.
96 Camus.
There you go. We're in.
And then lastly, 2008, it was what, the Mohawk.
Yeah.
09, it was, they had black hair, which I'm gonna have to personally tell you.
Yeah, no,
I wasn't digging.
Just trying to. I was reaching at that
Yeah,
point.
it was reach.
Okay.
But 2010, tell our fans, maybe give them something that you're thinking about, because you're thinking about.
Yeah, but I'm really trying to not make a hair statement this year. I'm really not.
Maybe the eye black.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I could grow a mustache, which I really.
That would be cool.
But I mean, I'm very void of facial hair. I'm really bad at that. I've always been bad at that ever since I was a kid.
Start now, though.
Yeah, I may try. I may try now that I'm 56 to grow facial hair. But whatever it takes at that moment, something's going to move me.
Yeah.
I try to stay open to what's happening now. You saw our new sign for this year. What's important now? Win, get it.
Yep.
So that's. I want to stay in the present tense as much as possible. I'm on a new workout regime, a little more new diet with a dietitian, that kind of stuff. So I'm playing those kind of mind games with myself this year.
Awesome. Well, thanks for doing this. We appreciate
Always
it.
my pleasure. Thank you.
Bye. As you can see, the field is empty, the players are gone, and Joe Maddon is back in the clubhouse getting ready for the game. We're heading over there too. Goodbye from Port Charlotte.